Hi, this is Jar from Bikewagon, and Albert emailed in asking, will this shock fit my bike? And there's a lot of different configurations of bicycles and a lot of different configurations of shocks, and it's not something that's simply answered in just a quick answer. So I'm going to run through a little bit today on how to determine whether or not a shock will fit your bicycle. There's a lot of different measurements. So first measurement that you're going to want to find out, just to see if it'll actually fit your bicycle, is going to be the eye-to-eye length. So these being the eyes right here. So we would need to measure to see what the eye-to-eye length, and it's measured from center to center. So this particular shock is about 8 3/4 inches eye-to-eye. The next measurement that you're going to need is what they call the stroke of the shock, which has to do with how far this shock travels in and out. So this particular one is about 2.5 inches of stroke. So it's 8 3/4 by 2.5. That needs to be determined based on measuring your frame. So you can take your old frame and you can measure from the eye to eye here and the stroke to compare on your bike to see whether or not it's going to fit. The next measurement you're going to need is the bushing width on both ends of your shock. So in this particular one, looks to be about 22.2 millimeters as far as the width goes. This particular bike right here has a quite wide one. So you're going to need to measure that measurement as well, which in this particular case, it looks like about 48 millimeters wide on the top. And again, down here, you're at about 25 millimeters on the bottom. So if you bought this shock, it would fit eye to eye, but you're going to need to buy new bushing setups to get it to fit your particular frame. Now, from there, there's also the bolt size of your bike that's going to need to be determined. Most of them are either going to be a 6 millimeter bolt or an 8 millimeter bolt that it runs through here. So when you're ordering the bushing kit, in a scenario like this one right here, this one is 8 millimeters and it's about 45 millimeters wide. So you'll need to make sure that you get those as well. Now, if it's a coil shock, people want to know what size spring should I ride on my bike because I weigh 200 pounds and what size spring do I need? That's really hard to determine by us. What you'll need to do is actually contact the manufacturer of your frame and ask them what spring rate they suggest for your body weight, because every bike does leverage ratios different. And so what takes a 200-pound spring on one bike might not take a 200-pound spring on the other bike. Because of the leverage ratio of it, it might compress it easier or harder. So that's not one that we can easily determine for you. It's one that needs to go through your manufacturer. There's a lot of different shapes and sizes in shocks. Again, longer, 8.5 by 2.5, 6.5 by 1.5. So the critical measurements that you're going to need are eye-to-eye length, stroke length, your bushing diameters, and the bolt diameter. Okay, if you have any other questions on this, just comment below or email us at bikewagon.com or on Facebook at #askjarv.